Let's learn the brioche 4-stitch decrease, a centered decrease that decreases 4 stitches in 2-color brioche. This is the technique used in the Briochevron Scarflet. I have my center stitch marked, this center knit stitch. This center stitch is going to consume the 2 stitches to the right and the 2 stitches to the left. As you work this technique, remember that the stitch with its yarn over counts as 1 stitch. The stitch with the yarn over counts as 1 stitch. Brioche 4-stitch decrease Continental style. Knit 2 together, this stitch and this stitch together, including the yarn over. So knit 2 together, slip next knit stitch onto right needle. This is the center stitch and the yarn over. That counts as 1 stitch. Slip to the right needle, knit 2 together. The knit stitch and that purl stitch knitted together, including the little yarn over. Knit 2 together. Slip 2 stitches from right needle onto left needle. 1, 2. Place the knit stitch from the left needle onto a cable needle and hold in front of the work. I'm just going to use this tapestry needle as my cable needle. So slip that stitch from the left needle, including the yarn over, and just hold it in the front. Slip 1 stitch from the right needle onto left needle. Knit 2 together. Place the knit stitch from the cable needle onto the left needle. Slip the stitch from the right needle onto left needle. Pass this knit stitch over, including the yarn over. This is 4 stitches decreased, and finally just slip that stitch onto the right needle to complete that technique. It's a lot of maneuvering, so you can watch that all again and rewind this video to watch it again, and I'll show it one more time for Continental style. Once again, a little bit quicker, the brioche 4-stitch decrease Continental style. You should be 2 stitches before that marked center stitch. Knit 2 together. Slip next knit stitch onto right needle, including the yarn over. Knit 2 together. The knit stitch and the purl stitch and its yarn over together. Slip 2 stitches from right needle onto left needle. Place the knit stitch from the left needle onto cable needle and hold it in front of the work. Slip 1 stitch from right needle onto left needle. Knit 2 together. Place the knit stitch from the cable needle onto your left needle. Slip 1 stitch from the right needle onto left needle and pass the knit stitch over, including that yarn over. It goes over that stitch. And finally, slip that stitch to the right needle, completing the centered double decrease. For you English style knitters holding the yarn in your right hand, you should be 2 stitches away from that decrease center stitch. You just did a slip 1 with the yarn over, going on top of the needle. Brioche 4-stitch decrease. Knit 2 together. Slip next knit stitch onto right needle. Knit 2 together. Slip 2 stitches from right needle onto left needle. Place the knit stitch from the left needle onto cable needle and hold in front of work. Slip 1 stitch from right needle onto left needle, knit 2 together, place the knit stitch from the cable needle onto left needle, including its yarn over, slip 1 stitch from right needle onto left needle, and pass the knit stitch over, including the yarn over. It goes over that stitch. And finally, slip this final stitch onto right needle. 4 stitches are decreased, and continue to mark this stitch, so as you work more rows, you can keep that knit stitch marked to mark that that is the center stitch, and you'll be creating a beautiful column of decreases. This is just one way to do the centered brioche 4-stitch decrease. If you find another way that shows it a little bit differently, you can do it any other way, but this is how I do it in the Briochevron Scarflet, and it consumes 2 stitches to the right, 2 stitches to the left, a really great practice for that centered brioche decrease. And you can find this pattern on Ravelry and Westknits.com to knit this cute little skinny scarf, the Briochevron Scarflet. It uses just 1 skein of DK weight wool for the main color. I used Walk Collection Merino DK, and I used 1 skein of chain fiber teddy for that fun boucle texture on the wrong side. So just 1 skein of each color in DK weight will make this fun 2-color brioche scarflet. And it's so nice to knit with some texture and learn that new decrease technique. And there'll be some increases on each edge. So thanks for watching, and check out my other brioche tutorials here on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next one.